Welcome, friends of Japanese prints. I am Dieter Vanschura, and I'm the manager and owner of artelino.com, the Artelino company located in beautiful Bavaria in southern Germany. And my little company sells Japanese prints in weekly online auctions. And we produce these videos about Japanese prints. Today's subject is about a famous artist of the so-called Sosaku Hanga art movement. His name is Okiie Hashimoto. And you see here in the background, you see a Japanese castle. So that was his specialty, Japanese castles. That's what he's famous for, but not only. Let's start at the beginning. He was born on October 4, in 1899, and he died in 1993. Okiie Hashimoto graduated in 1923 from the art college in Tokyo, and there he met another famous artist of the so-called Sosaku Hanga art movement, and it was Unichi Hiratsuka. Unichi Hiratsuka was something like the teacher, the technical instructor for the Sosaku Hanga artists. You must know Sosaku Hanga, an art movement of the first half of the 20th century, a Japanese art movement. And in contrast to these old ukiyo-e masters like Hiroshige, Utamaro, Konisada, these guys only designed the prints, yeah? And then there were carvers and printers who did the rest. But the Sosaku Hanga artists, they thought, hey, that is not what a real artist should be. A real artist is a genius and must do everything himself. And so they tried to carve and they tried to print, but that's not so easy. Yeah? And Unichi Hiratsuka, he was the only one who mastered that a little bit, and he taught it to the others. He taught printmaking in Tokyo at the university or a college or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but that's not so important. Anyway, Okiie Hashimoto learned printmaking in one of these courses by Unichi Hiratsuka, and these two men, they became friends. Unichi Hiratsuka introduced him to the other artists, to this artist circle of Sosaku Hanga guys, and that gave him a possibility to exhibit his woodblock prints. Okiie Hashimoto was, as an artist, a little bit a late starter. Why? Because in order to make a living, he had a full-time job as a teacher at a middle school since 1925. Well, most of the Sosaku Hanga artists before World War II, they could not make a living with their printmaking. And Okiie Hashimoto was not an exception. After the position as a teacher as a middle school, he became assistant to the head of a renowned girls' college in Tokyo. That was already a little bit better position where he had more time for printmaking. And there he stayed until 1955. And by then, he had become famous on an international level. And after 1955, Okiie Hashimoto, he could afford to work as a full-time freelance artist. Let's talk a little bit about his career. Okiie Hashimoto, as many of these printmakers, he also worked as a painter. But today nobody knows him anymore as a painter. But he's really famous as a printmaker, and he got international fame by taking part in these famous international print exhibitions. For instance, Sao Paulo, Krakow, Frechen in Germany, and then there were two in Tokyo. And that really put him to the top of Sosaku Hanga artists. His style, like this example, is very powerful, very colorful. If you like bright colors, he may be an artist for you. And with this bright, colorful style, He's, I wouldn't say in contrast with his master Unichi Hiratsuka, but his style is quite different from the one of his teacher Unichi Hiratsuka. Let's talk a little bit about the subjects, the themes of Okiie. His printmaking style is very modern, Western-oriented, you could say, but the subjects are very conservative, even retrograde. Yeah, he liked to show old Japan. He's most famous for a series of old Japanese castles, Japanese gardens, Japanese temples, Japanese pagodas, but also landscapes. And towards his late period, he also preferred to make portraits of young women. I'm now going to show you one. Okay. Artelino has a bunch of articles, I think more than 1,200 in English, about Japanese prints, and one is about Okiie Hashimoto. And let's take a look at that. A few images say more than 1,000 words. Well, this is this article, and there are two more examples from one of his castle series. And there you see, this is a very, very famous design by Okiie Hashimoto. It's one of these late portraits of young women. Well, my friends, we've come to the end. If you're interested in Japanese prints, or if I now may have triggered the interest for you for the first time, and you want to see more images of Japanese prints, old and new, okay, artelino.com is a very good place to begin with. Only Artelino offers you, to my knowledge, please correct me if I'm wrong, offers you more than 1,000 articles about Japanese, 1,200 articles about Japanese prints in English, and so roughly 250 articles in German, and more than 150 videos about Japanese prints, more than 4,000 printmaking artists, Japanese artists, database available for everybody. And we have an archive of more than 70,000 sold Japanese prints with real financial results. Great descriptions, not done by me, but by my Japanese wife, Yuri. And, well, these archives shows the sold prints since our establishment in 2001. So visit artelino.com, and my name is Dieter Unschura. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you for our next video. Goodbye.